Alan Williams, once again, we're breaking into programming to give you the latest on that developing story at UT. Our own Courtney Cox is there. And Courtney, what's happening?
Yes, Alan, I'm live at the scene right now in front of the CX yard across from the UT Rec Center. It has been reported that a tanker containing 5,000 gallons of dangerous substance has tipped over. According to Knox Fire Chief Stan Sharp, several units have arrived, including KFD officers in hazardous material suits. Now, please keep in mind, folks, this substance is clear, colorless, and has a sweet odor. It's called trichloroethylene. And I have received news that one rail worker, CXS worker, David Ziegler, age 42, he's a track inspector, has been a part of that incident along with 3 students who have been sent to the UT Medical Center. That's all I have for right now.
Courtney, do we know if any roads have been closed?
Yes, some roads have been closed. The roads Head Summit has been closed down, and that is what I have for right now. It is a developing story.
Thank you, Courtney. We'll check back later for more information.
Thank you.
Alan Williams here. Once again, we're breaking into programming to bring you the latest on that developing story at UT. Our own William Wells is there. Williams, what's been happening?
I'm here on Andy Holt Avenue, where nearby a railroad tanker filled with 5,000 gallons of trichloroethylene has tipped and begun to leak onto the tracks. Units from Fort Sanders, Downtown, and Baxter Avenue fire stations are on the scene, including 12 Knoxville Fire Department officers in hazmat suits. We've received reports that 1 rail worker and 3 students have been taken to the University Medical Center. That rail worker was David Ziegler, a 42-year-old track inspector from Powell, Tennessee. Officials using sand to clean up the spill. No word yet on whether buildings will be evacuated.
William, do we know anything about this trichloroethylene? Just what is this stuff?
So in its liquid form, it's not hazardous, but in its gaseous form, it is. It has no smell. That's wrong. I'm sorry. It has a sweet smell.
Keep going. I'm interested.
That's all I know about it.
Okay, well, we'll check back later. Thank you. Alan Williams, once again, we're breaking into local programming to give you the latest on that developing story at UT. Our own Alyssa Gannis is there. Alyssa, what can you tell us?
Well, I'm here at the scene of a tanker crash at CSX Yard across from the UT Rec Center. The Knoxville Fire Chief, Stan Sharp, reported that the track beneath the tanker failed, causing a tanker car to tip over on its side. The Fort Sanders Fire Station number 9 were the first to respond from 1625 Highland Avenue. 12 KFD officers in hazardous material suits are now on the scene. It was reported that the tanker contained 5,000 gallons of trichloroethylene, and though most of it is still in the tanker, a significant amount has leaked. 1 rail worker and 3 students were taken to the University Medical Center by Rural Metro. One of the 4 persons taken to the UT Med Center was identified as 43-year-old David Ziegler from Powell, Tennessee. The Knoxville Fire Department are using sand to absorb the trichloroethylene. And Head Summit on east side and Andy Holt on the north side are 2 roads that are closed, but Neyland Drive still remains open.
Alyssa, do we know anything about this trichloroethylene? Just what is this stuff?
It is very acidic and hazardous, so you do not need to come into contact with it.
All right, we'll check back more for later.
Thank you.
Alan Williams here. Once again, we're breaking into programming to bring you the latest on the developing story at UT. Our own Charlie Collier is there. Charlie, what's been happening?
Yes, thank you, Alan. I'm at the CSX Railroad Yard on Highland Avenue across the street from the university's recreational center, where Knoxville Fire Chief Stan Sharp has informed me that a tanker car has tipped over after the railroad below him apparently failed. The tanker car had 5,000 gallons of trichloroethylene, and almost all was still in the tank, but a significant amount still spilled. Some has become a gas, but most has pooled as a liquid by the tracks. 12 Knoxville Fire Department workers are currently assessing the situation and working in response, and they are indeed wearing hazmat suits. The substance is dangerous, and they are trying to use sand to absorb the liquid. Currently, 4 people have been taken to the UT Medical Center, 1 worker and 3 students. That worker is one David Ziegler, a 42-year-old trained inspector from Powell. He is currently in fair condition, and then the students are Justin Maney, 19, Ricky Hofstadter, 25, and a grad student, and then Ashante Washington, 21. And Maney, Hofstadter, and Ziegler are all in good condition, but Ashante Washington is actually in fair condition. They are all being treated for irritation of their eyes, nose, and mouth. UTPD has blocked off all access roads beyond Andy Holt on the north side of the spill, and Padhead Summit on the east side. So far, Neyland Drive remains open, and we have yet to hear from the university on whether there have been any evacuations.
Charlie, do we know anything about this trichloroethylene? Just how dangerous is this stuff?
Yes, it's a pretty dangerous liquid and gas, and both liquid and gas form. It can cause irritation to the body as well as skin that's exposed to it, its pores too.
Okay, we'll check back later for more. Thank you.
Thank you.
Alan Williams here. Once again, we're breaking into programming for that developing story at UT. Our own Carrie Pickett is there. Carrie, what's been going on?
Hey, thank you, Alan. I'm at the CSX rail yard across from the UT Rec Center, and there has been a tanker car that is flipped over on its side. The track beneath it has failed, and there has been a decent amount of spillage of the dangerous chemical trichloroethylene. It is non-flammable, so we're not worried about any explosions out here, but it is dangerous to inhale or come in contact with. And we have had confirmation of three students as well as one rail yard worker taken to UT Medical Center, all in good or fair condition. The worker is David Ziegler. He is 42. He is a track inspector from Powell, and the students are Justin Maney, Rick Hofstetter, and Ashante Washington. They are all being treated for irritation of the eyes, nose, and throat. And there are 12 KFD officers on the scene right now trying to clean up the spill with sand.
Okay, so let's ask about this trichloroethylene. Just how dangerous is this stuff?
It is toxic when you inhale it, ingest it, but it is not flammable, so we are not worried about the building blowing up or anything. And since the patients are all being treated for irritation of the throat, nose, and eyes, we believe that they have just inhaled it, and they are doing just fine, as we're getting reports from UT Medical Center.
All right, appreciate that, Carrie. We'll check back later for more. Okay. Alan Williams here. We're back breaking into programming once again to go out to Savannah Smith, and she's got the latest on that developing story at UT. Savannah, what's happening?
Yes, Alan, I am here live at the CXS yard right across from the street from the UTT Rec Center, where a tanker has tipped over, spilling trichloroethylene, which is hazardous to students and is often found in solvent used to remove paint. From what we know so far, one rail worker and 3 students were sent to the medical center, being David Ziegler, who is 42, who is in fair condition, Justin Maney, who is 19 and in good condition, Ricky Hofstetter, 25, who is a grad student who is also in good condition, and Ashante Washington, who is 21, who is in fair condition.
All right. And has anything changed with the traffic in the area?
Yes, all right, so UTPD just now closed the Volunteer Boulevard all the way from Pat Summit to Andy Holt, but Neyland Drive is still open up to traffic, so if you are coming home from work, that's the way you should be going.
All right, I'll check back later for more.
All right, thank you.
Alan Williams here. Once again, we're breaking into programming to bring you the latest on that developing story at UT. Our own Wyeth Williams is there. Wyeth, what has been happening?
Thanks, Al. Well, I'm over at the CSX Railroad Yard on the University of Tennessee campus, where a tanker car carrying 5,000 gallons of trichloroethylene spilled, tipped over, and early information has indicated that the track beneath the cart was the reason for the spill. We have 3 students and 1 railroad worker that were injured. They were taken to the hospital. However, 2 of them have been released, and their names Justin Maney and Ricky Hofstetter. Ashante Washington and David Ziegler, who entered the hospital with fair conditions, have now been upgraded to good. They're being treated for irritation of eye and throat. Most of the chemical did spill, but some of it remains in the tanker, and part of the chemical that did spill has been treated with sand by 12 KFD officers that are on the scene from 3 different units.
All right. What do we know about this trichloroethylene stuff? How dangerous is it?
It's usually used as an industrial solvent. It is fairly dangerous. It can affect humans through the air or through touch of the liquid form. But the sand being used to soak it up should be the most effective method.
All right, good. Well, we'll check back later for more.
Thanks, Al.
Alan Williams here. Once again, we're breaking into programming to bring you the latest on that developing situation at UT. Our own Chandler Counts is out there. Chandler, what's been happening?
Hi, Alan. I am currently across the street from the UT Rec Center where a tanker car has been tipped over containing 5,000 gallons of trichloroethylene. Some of it being gas but mostly liquid has been spread across the track, and we're trying to currently absorb it with sand. One rail worker and 3 students have been reported hurt, and these were all treated at the UT Medical Center. David Ziegler, the rail worker, is now reported to be in good condition, as well as Ashanti Williams, 21, Justin Manny, who's 19, and Ricky Huffsetter, 25, have been released from the hospital.
Okay, and what do we know about this trichloroethylene? Just how dangerous is this stuff?
It's very dangerous. That's why it needs to be got up right away, and it can really put a toll on your eyes, nose, and throat.
All right, good. Well, we'll check back later for more.
Thank you.
Alan Williams, once again, we're breaking into programming to bring you the latest on that developing story at UT. Our own Ava Williams is there. And Ava, what's been happening? Ava, sorry, I'll do it again.
You're good.
Alan Williams, breaking into programming, developing story at UT, and our own Ava Miller is there. Ava, what's been happening?
Earlier today, a tanker has slipped over at the CSX yard at UT's campus across from the rec center. The tanker was carrying 5,000 gallons of trichloric acid. It's a dangerous substance that has significantly leaked into liquid pools. UTPD has since blocked off all the roads in this area. 3 UT students and a track inspector, David Ziegler, have been treated at UT Medical Center for irritation of the eyes, nose, and throat. 2 UT students, Justin Maney and Rick Huffstead, have since been released, and Ashante Washington and David Ziegler are still being treated but are in stable condition. UT has since evacuated 3 buildings on campus: the T-Rex, facility services, and transportation services.
Yes. Do we know if those evacuations are complete?
They just announced that they're evacuating those buildings.
Okay, so probably not. So that will go. Now, do we know anything about this trichloroethylene? Just how dangerous is this stuff?
It is reported as a hazardous substance. That's why they are evacuating buildings and have closed down the road, Ball Boulevard, from Pat Summit to Andy Holt, and a significant amount has been released.
All right, we'll check back later for more. Thank you.
Thank you.
Alan Williams here. Once again, we're breaking into programming to bring you the latest on that developing story at UT. Our own Aspen Ritz is there. Aspen, what's been happening?
Today at the CSYX yard located across the street from the UT Rec Center, a tanker car was tipped over. It held 15,000 gallons of trichloroethylene, and apparently underneath it, the bridge had failed. A significant amount has leaked, but most of it was absorbed by sand. And after the incident, 1 rail worker and 3 students were taken to the University Center, the Medical Center, by Rural Metro. Right now, all 4 have been released, but the UT wants the 3 buildings evacuated: the T-Rex, the transportation services, and the facility services.
Okay. Do we know anything about this trichloroethylene? Just how dangerous is this stuff?
It's super dangerous and can affect a bunch of people, so they're trying their best to clean it up.
Okay, great. Well, we'll check back later for more. Appreciate that. Alan Williams here. Once again, we're breaking into programming to bring you the latest on that developing story at UT. Our own Shirley Fraser is there. Shirley, what has been happening?
So I'm here in front of the UT Rec Center at the CSX yard where an accident has happened. A tanker car has tipped over where gallons of chemicals has fallen out. We have firefighters and officers on the scene trying to absorb the chemicals with sand. There were 4 people that were injured from the accident. They were taken to the medical center, but they have been released. And then the T-Rex facility and transportation services buildings have been evacuated. And that's all for right now.
Shirley, do we know anything about this trichloroethylene? Just how dangerous is this stuff?
I didn't do research.
Okay, all right. Well, we'll check back later for more. Appreciate it. Alan Williams, breaking into programming, because once again, we need to bring you up to date on the latest on that developing story at UT. Our own Andrew Bowen is there. Andrew, what's been happening?
Thanks, Alan. A tanker carrying 5,000 gallons of trichloroethylene has tipped over and spilled across from the UT Rec Center. Most of the spill is contained in the tanker, but a large amount of chemicals have still seeped out. Fort Sanders Fire Station were the first responders on the scene, and 12 Knoxville County Fire Department officers are in hazmat suits currently assessing the situation. 3 UT students and 1 rail worker were hospitalized for irritation of the face, nose, mouth, and eyes. They were recently released from the hospital and are in good condition. UT is evacuating the T-Rex Facility Services and Transportation Services buildings, and currently Transportation Services and Facility Services buildings have been evacuated, but the T-Rex building is still has some people inside. UTPD is currently closing UT Boulevard from Andy Holt Avenue to Pat Summit Boulevard. We will keep you updated as more information comes in. This is Andrew Bowen live on the scene.
Andrew, do we know anything about this chemical, this trichloroethylene? Just what is this stuff?
Yes, it's a odorless, smellless chemical that is used in adhesive and is used for spot remover, and it can irritate the eyes and throat, and it tends to taste pretty bitter if you get it in your mouth, but yeah.
Okay, well, appreciate that. We'll be checking back later for more. Alan Williams here. Once again, we're interrupting programming to bring you that developing story at UT. Our own Jesse Kelly is there. Jesse, what has been happening?
Hi, Alan. I'm live out here at the CSX yard on the UT campus where a tanker car has tipped over. It's full of 5,000 gallons of trichloroethylene chemical. Most of it is contained, but some of it has spilled out. Knox County Fire Chief Stan Sharp has 3 stations responding with 12 officers in a hazmat suit trying to clean it up with sand. Now, 4 people were taken to UT Medical Center to be treated, but all have been released. UT police have blocked off Andy Holt, Pat Head Summit, and Volunteer Boulevard, and evacuated the T-Rec Facility Services and Transportation Services building. Now, that's all the details I have so far.
Jesse, do we know anything about this trichloroethylene? Just how dangerous is this stuff?
It's pretty dangerous. It sent 4 people to the hospital, but it is easily cleaned up with sand, so it's not so bad.
All right, well, we'll check back later for more.
Thank you.
Alan Williams, once again, we're breaking into programming to bring you this developing story at UT. Our own Edwin Keeble is there. Edwin, what has been happening?
All right, well, here at the the rail yard right across from the UT Rec Center, a CSX tanker car has spilled over 5,000 gallons of trichloroethylene. And right now it has caused 4 people to go to the hospital. We just got back and heard that 4 people have been released from the hospital, 3 UT students and 1 rail worker. Right now, UT is on the scene. They're closing off a road from Andy Holt to Pat Summit Drive, or Pat Summit Head, and also UTPD has closed that off, but Neyland is also still available to drive on. 3 buildings on UT's campus have been evacuated: the Facility Services Building, Transportation Services Building, and also the T-Rec Center behind me. The chemical is used for adhesive, also used for paint remover. It has a sweet smell, but right now we're safe enough so it won't affect us. Here out. Thanks.
So, as I understand it, UT has evacuated those buildings and also cordoned off the area? Is that where
Yes,
we are?
they have. Right now, I believe that all 3 buildings have been evacuated. I will let you know if any more will be evacuated as well.
Okay, we appreciate that. We'll check back later for more. Alan Williams, we're breaking into programming once again to bring you the latest on that developing story. It's been developing all morning out at UT. Our own Eleanor Westbrook is there. Eleanor, what has been happening?
Yes, I'm at the CSX yard across the street from the UT Rec Center, where a tank car has tipped over due to a track failure. The tank contains 5,000 gallons of triethylene, which is a volatile organic chemical that can affect your nervous system, related to hearing, seeing, and balance, and rhythm of the heartbeat, liver damage, and it has evidence of kidney damage. The trichloroethylene is being cleaned up with sandbags right now. 4 people were sent to the hospital, but all have been released, but they had irritation of eyes, nose, and throat. Fort Sanders Fire Station number 9 was first to respond, followed by Baxter Avenue Station number 3. 12 KFD officers in hazmat suits have been on the scene with the sandbags
Nope.
cleaning up.
Yeah, Eleanor, what has UT's response been to this situation?
UT has closed down Volunteer Boulevard from Andy Holt Avenue to Pat Head Summit, and also the building, T-Rec, facility, service, and transportation buildings have all been closed, or
Okay.
have all been evacuated.
So they've all been evacuated, so everyone is out of the area.
Yes,
Okay, and people going near that area should probably actually avoid it.
exactly, yes. 'Cause
And, yeah.
not a good chemical.
All right, well, I appreciate that. We'll check back later for more.
Thank you.
University of Tennessee journalism student Savannah Smith is at Knox County GOP's election night party, and she spoke with Sheriff Tom Spangler to get some preliminary impression of this election day and what he expects tonight.
We have had a record number of early voting numbers, and today's been very heavy from what I've heard, so I think Knox County has come out to vote.
Okay. How did you guys react this morning to all the power outages that happened? Do you think that affected voting today, or?
I think it will affect some places. Obviously, it affected us here in Knox County and in a few of the precincts because they had to go to paper ballots. But I don't think it's going to cause a major problem. Now, with that being said, as I said earlier, we want to remember those over in Rutherford County with the tornado hit, that there is one life that has been lost, so our thoughts and prayers are out for them.
Okay. How do you think tonight is going to play out for the Republican Party?
I'm excited, and I think we're going to do well.
Brandon, I know that we've got our WUOT news intern out there getting information. We also have a UT journalism student out there, and you spoke with her. Savannah, tell us more about that.
Yeah, Savannah Smith is watching GOP headquarters at the Crown Plaza Hotel in Knoxville for us this evening. I spoke with her actually just a few moments ago, and on the flip side of Gloria Johnson's victory, of course, is that incumbent Eddie Smith lost his bid for re-election, and she characterizes basically what he talked about. I understand you were there, of course, when Eddie Smith made his concession speech. Could you characterize that for us?
Yes. So he made an appearance at the party, and he stated that he had the distinct pleasure of serving the district for 4 years, and although he is sad that he will not be returning, he does plan on taking care of his 2 kids, and he is very hopeful for the Senate race against Blackburn and Bredesen.
That's something that we are continuing to keep an eye on as well. How would you describe the mood in there whenever the subject of Bredesen and Blackburn comes up?
From what I have been feeling from people, Blackburn is in a pretty good lead with 62% of the votes. So people in there are very hopeful for Blackburn and think that she has a very good chance of taking that seat.
Okay. Anything else of note as you continue to walk around talking to people, gathering opinions and views from the GOP folks there at the Crown Plaza?
I have, and from recent news that have been posted, Bill Lee is our new governor. People are ecstatic, and some representatives came up and spoke on behalf of Lee and said that he is looking very forward to working with President Trump to make not only Tennessee but America better again.
Okay, Savannah Smith at the GOP Watch Party headquarters there in downtown Knoxville. Savannah, thanks so much.
No problem.
So we're kind of starting to wrap up a little bit, so I want to get one final update from Savannah Smith, our UT journalism student at GOP headquarters. She spoke with Knox County GOP Chair Buddy Burkhart about the Senate race.
Yes, I asked him how he felt about the race. Did he think it was predictable that Blackburn was going to take the lead or anything like that? And he said that he was completely confident in that election and knew with confidence that she was going to pull through for the Republican Party. And he said that even though we lost one with Eddie Smith, he couldn't be more thrilled for Tim Burchett in the congressional race. But it appears that the Republicans are going to gain back again, and he could not be happier.
Yeah, I was about to say that does seem to be the case where the balance in the U.S. House, this is the delegation that we send to the U.S. House in Washington, was 7 Republicans, 2 Democrats. Looks like in January it'll be 8 Republicans, 1 Democrat. We did see a loss in Jim Cooper's district out around Nashville. So as we're talking about this, did Mr. Burkhart at all seem surprised by the margin of victory so far for Marsha Blackburn? We thought this race might be a little closer. It's turning out to be a little more lopsided than perhaps we had anticipated.
From what he has told me, he, like I said before, he had zero doubt at all that Blackburn was going to win, and he knew that she had it from the get-go and whatnot.
Okay, all right. Well, Savannah Smith, again, a UT journalism student, thank you so much for checking in with us. And thank you so much for all of your help this evening. We certainly appreciate it.
No problem.